Yo, what is good, Jets Nation? Welcome back to Jets Media. This is Richie, and in this video, I want to break down some of my favorite free agents I would love to see the New York Jets target in free agency, which is right around the corner. Next week, it all officially begins, and I'm going to be live all week next week. So make sure you guys hit that notification bell so you guys get notified every time I am live here on Jets Media, because you guys are not going to want to miss a free agency live stream of mine, because if you guys remember last year, it was hectic. I was live for hours and hours waiting for breaking news to happen. So it's going to be a lot of fun here on Jets Media next week during the live stream. So again, guys, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to thumbs it up. In this one, we're going to be breaking down some of my favorite players out there that are available for the New York Jets to go out there and sign. I was live all day yesterday breaking down some of my top free agency. It was like a big free agency preview live stream. In this video, I kind of want to condense that idea into one video and break down some of the top free agents that I would like to see the New York Jets target. So with that being said, let's jump right into the video. So when it comes to Joe Douglas's approach to free agency, if we look back to this past 2 years when Joe Douglas went out there, he has not really paid a big time player tier 1 money yet. Now, is he going to do that this year? I probably will not expect that. And the only players that are on the market that are asking for that top dollar is probably guys like J.C. Jackson and even Carlton Davis, both the top cornerbacks on the market, both very young. J.C. Jackson is going to get paid probably ridiculous amounts, and we're going to be breaking down him in this video. And I just feel like Joe Douglas's approach so far as a Jets GM in free agency is, instead of paying a lot of money into 1 or 2 players, he uses that same amount of money to allocate it around the roster to provide depth. So instead of putting all the money into 2 players, like for a hypothetically scenario 2 or 3 years ago when Mike Maccagnan was the GM, we had the most cap space in the league. He went out there and signed Le'Veon Bell and CJ Mosley, gave them both huge deals, and that kind of set this franchise back a little bit. Joe Douglas's mindset is kind of supplement through free agency, acquire depth throughout the roster, go into the tier 2 market, because I know a lot of Jets fans want Joe Douglas to go out there and pay top dollar for all the top free agents out there, because that's what you want, the splashy guys. But the reality is, you don't build a team through free agency. You have to build it through the draft, and that's what Joe Douglas's mindset is. But at the same time, there has to be that right balance. I'm not saying that Joe Douglas should go out there and whiff on free agency and not sign anybody. That's not what I'm saying at all. My point is, I kind of agree with the mindset of Joe Douglas, is trying to maintain cap flexibility for years on end, because if Joe Douglas wanted to, he could go out there and spend a lot of money on a guy in J.C. Jackson. He could go out there and spend a lot of top dollars on all these free agents that are veterans and try to go all and win this year, and then we'll set this team back, in my opinion. Instead, he's going to be handing out cap-friendly deals for the Jets moving forward, because I think we can all agree as a Jets fan base, we are not 1 or 2 players away from being a Super Bowl contender. That's not breaking news. That's not me discovering something. Every Jets fan knows that there's a lot of holes on this roster that needs to be filled. So I'm expecting Joe Douglas to be handing out cap-friendly deals, 2 or 3 year contracts where you're able to get out of it at the end of the contract. And I'm excited to break down some of the players that Joe Douglas should be targeting. So the first position group I want to talk about that I think is going to be Joe Douglas's priority is going to be interior offensive line. There's a lot of names on the market that I'm looking out for Joe Douglas to go out there and get. And the number 1 guy I would love to see on the New York Jets is guard James Daniels from the Chicago Bears. He's only 24 years old. He's a perfect scheme fit for what Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, and LaFleur are running here with John Benden as an offensive line coach. I feel like he would be a plug-and-play guy, and he'd be a starting right guard for the next 3 or 4 years. A contract he'd be looking to get is maybe around a 3-year deal or a 4-year deal, maybe around $40 million, $10 million annually is something that I could see happening with a 24-year-old guy that's only going to get better and better, and I feel like he would be better in the system with LaFleur and Benton. I know that he does have penalty issues, but I feel like he's a guy that can learn, and a guy that would really be a big-time piece to this Jets offensive line, because when you look at this Jets offensive line, there's really only 2 players on this O-line that you can say with confidence that is part of the long-term solution. You know, Mekhi Becton and Elijah Vera Tucker, 2 of Joe Douglas's first-round picks the past 2 drafts. Outside of that, Connor McGovern entering the last year of his contract, and if we wanted to, we can cut him and save up $9 million. George Fant is coming off a phenomenal year, but he's going to be a free agent after the season. Greg Van Roten, we're expecting him to be cut. There's not a lot of guys on this offensive line outside of AVT and Becton that are going to be on this team long term as of right now. So what I'm trying to say is I'm definitely expecting Joe Douglas to be active in signing veterans to 3-year deals, because we need to make sure we have continuity on this offensive line, because that's the most important to protect Zach Wilson. So I would not be shocked if he targets James Daniels. And if James Daniels not a player that decides to come to the Jets, there's another veteran on the market like Laken Tomlinson from the San Francisco 49ers. He's 30 years old. He's a player that knows the system. He's familiar with our offensive line coach in Benton. He's a different style because he's more of that veteran, 30 years old. He kind of had one really good year of like a resurgence year of his career, where it's not like he's a young player like James Daniels. So if I had to prefer one of these two players, either Daniels or Tomlinson, I'll definitely lean more James Daniels for the long-term approach. So those are the two guys on the interior offensive line when it comes to the right guard spot for the New York Jets. And then the center position is interesting because Connor McGovern, we could move on from him, save $9 million in cap space. And if you wanted to do that, there's a big-time center on the market in Ryan Jensen. And obviously there's a rumor about the New York Jets being interested in him that I made a whole video on. So say the Jets did want to cut Connor McGovern and Ryan Jensen was interested to come to the Jets. That is our, solution at the center position for the next 3 to 4 years. And I know Ryan Jensen is older. He's a veteran. It's not like a youthful guy that's getting better and better. But what he would bring to this roster is a Super Bowl pedigree, a tough mindset, and be the rock of that offensive line interior for the next 2 to 3 years to help out Zach Wilson on his rookie contract. So I would love to see Ryan Jensen on the Jets. I just don't know the type of contract he's looking for. If he's trying to get paid as the top center in the league, like 13 mil or 14 million per year, maybe Joe Douglas doesn't do it. But at the same time, if you can get a reasonable contract and you cut Connor McGovern, you save $9 million, you could put that money right into Jensen, and all of a sudden our center position looks good for the next couple of years, and he's also extremely durable. So those are the offensive lines that I feel like the Jets are definitely going to be interested in. And when it comes to our own free agents on the offensive line, we have Morgan Moses and LDT as pending free agents. As we know, we just re-signed Connor McDermott to a 1-year deal to provide depth, which is a really good move from Joe Douglas. We need depth anywhere on this O-line. So those are the offensive linemen I'm expecting Joe Douglas to target: James Daniels, Tomlinson, and Ryan Jensen. And then when it comes to Morgan Moses, I don't feel like he's going to be back. LDT, I hope he's back. Now, when it comes to the other position groups, like cornerback is another one I feel like is a really interesting topic to have. Because the New York Jets last year, they did not go out there and sign a veteran like everyone expected, and we ran it back with the rookie in Brendan Eccles and Michael Carter II and the year 2 player in Bryce Hall as the secondary, and they proved a lot of people wrong. So is Robert Saleh's approach going to be similarly, where they're not going to go out there and sign a veteran? They're going to draft another corner in this year's draft class, maybe in the first round like a Sauce Gardner, or maybe later on to develop. We don't know. But the two big names on the market is Carlton Davis and J.C. Jackson. I do not expect J.C. Jackson to be on the Jets radar just because of the contract he's looking for. If they wanted to pay money on a corner, I feel like Carlton Davis is another guy to look out for, but at the same time, he's probably going to be looking at a big contract. If you look at Spock Track, they have his contract projection pretty damn a lot of money. 5 years, $98 million, around $20 million per year. I would not throw that contract at Carlton Davis. Personally, I know he's 25 and he's getting better and he's coming from a really good defense, but I feel like Joe Douglas is not going to be spending a lot of money on the CB spot when he can probably get a CB in the draft for cheaper. And that's what I feel like Joe Douglas is going to do when it comes to the cornerback room. And the linebacker position is an interesting one. Foyesade Olokun is a player from the Atlanta Falcons that I would love the New York Jets to sign. He's a perfect scheme fit for what Jeff Ulbricht's defense is trying to do. He was coached by Jeff Ulbricht down in Atlanta. Jeff Ulbricht was the linebackers coach for them. And then when they fired their coach, he went up there and he was the interim defensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons. So there's a really good familiarity there. He's only 26 years old, and I feel like he would come in here and play alongside CJ Mosley and have Quincy Williams as the backup, rotating in and out on sometimes. So Foyesade Olokun is a player I would love the New York Jets to target. And then going the more veterans route, there's Bobby Wagner, Jordan Hicks on the market. I don't really expect either of these guys to be Jets, but I know that they're available. So keep an eye out for that if the Jets want to go older, because I feel like CJ Mosley's already our veteran, and I feel like we need to pair him up with a younger guy, because I don't think CJ Mosley is going to be on the Jets for the next 3 or 4 years, obviously long term. So we need to get a young guy to develop. And of course, we cannot forget about Jamie and Sherwood and Hamza Nasruddin on the roster. Hopefully they can really have a good training camp and make a big impact in year number 2. And when it comes to the wide receiver position, there's big guys available in the market. If Amari Cooper is going to be cut, Obviously, he's going to be a candidate. If the Jets want to trade for him, they can do that because officially, as I'm recording this video, he's not been released yet. Allen Robinson is another player if the Jets want to throw the bag at him. DJ Chark is a player that I feel like is a very underrated player on the free agent market. Another player is Christian Kirk. I feel like if Braxton Berrios does not get re-signed, Christian Kirk would make a lot of sense. And I really hope Braxton Berrios does come back for the New York Jets. I just don't know if that's going to happen. Apparently, the Jets made them the final offer, and Braxton Berrios is going to wait to test the open market to see where his value is at before he makes any decisions. So let's hope Braxton chooses to stay with the Jets so we don't really have to worry about replacing him, because I'm a big Berrios fan. So these are some receivers that I feel like Jets should target. I feel like there's a lot of other guys that I'm not mentioning that the Jets will definitely be interested in. I don't want to talk about every single free agent player in every single position in this video. I'm just mentioning a couple from each position. And then on the safety position, we got Marcus Williams available if we want to throw the bag at him. I know that he's been tied to the Jets for a long time. I wanted Jesse Bates, but we all know that he got franchise tagged. Marcus Williams from the New Orleans Saints, he's really young. He's upcoming. He's probably going to be looking at a big-time contract. So if the Jets want to bring in a guy that's young and upcoming, trying to get a second contract in the NFL, find a new home, and provide a big-time upgrade in that secondary, I'd throw the bag at Marcus Williams. He's one of those players I feel like is worth a contract. And then if you want to go the cheaper route, Justin Reed from the Houston Texans, he's a player if you want to bring in, because obviously the secondary, especially the safety position, is a big-time need. I know that we have Jason Pinnock that slid in there at safety at the end of the year last year. Maybe he does have some type of potential, but we all know that we need to get a lot of talent at that safety position, and Justin Reed's a player to look out for. My only issue with him is he does miss a lot of tackles, and the Jets were terrible last year in the run stoppage. So I'm not too sure if Justin Reed's going to make a lot of sense, but he definitely is a target to look out for. And then the tight end room is a very interesting one, because I think we all know this is the biggest hole on this entire offense for sure. There's so many guys available, but at the same time, there's a lot of guys that got off the market from the franchise tag, like Dalton Schultz, David Njoku, and Mike Gesicki. So other guys that are available that I feel like the Jets should definitely target, because there's no doubt in my mind we are going to sign a tight end. Gerald Everett from the Seahawks, he's a scheme fit. Zach Ertz, the veteran. CJ Uzomah, Robert Tonyan, OJ Howard. There's a lot of guys that's hitting the open market that I feel like the New York Jets should definitely be interested in at the tight end room, because this position has been atrocious ever since Dustin Keller and maybe that 1 year of Chris Herndon as a rookie. We need a tight end. We need to get a veteran tight end and draft a tight end. Hopefully we can go out there and get one of these players, because any of them would be a big-time upgrade. And obviously there's other positions that the New York Jets are going to be targeting, like edge rusher, defensive tackle. Those two are big-time needs. You can talk about Chandler Jones if you want to throw the bag at him. I just don't think the New York Jets are going to do that. I think they have their money invested in Carl Lawson as a veteran. They're going to sign an edge rusher at more like a 1 or 2 year deal that's not on Chandler Jones caliber, and then go out there and draft an edge rusher early in the first round, whether that's KT or Jermaine Johnson or Walker, and then pair him up with Carl Lawson. And then the D-tackle spot, you never know where the Jets going to go, because low-key, this might be a big position of need. You can say Jones from the San Francisco 49ers is definitely an option. Solomon Thomas. There's a lot of guys, because maybe Fodu Fatukasi is going to be walking in free agency, and maybe we do cut Sheldon Rankins, and maybe we do move on from Nathan Shepard as well. All of a sudden, that defensive tackle spot is a big glaring hole, and the Jets are going to have to fill that out in free agency and the draft. So, guys, that's my thoughts about all these different targets that the New York Jets should be looking at when it comes to free agency. It's going to be pretty crazy on the channel, and of course for the New York Jets next week. So stay tuned for more content. Any players I did not bring up in this video, please feel free to let me know down below in the comments. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I'm obviously not going to break down every single free agent that is going to be available for the Jets, but I just want to compile it into this video and talk about all these different positions. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Any positions or any players I did not bring up that you want me to talk about, let me know down below in the comments, and I'll answer it and give you guys my take. And feel free to like the video if you guys enjoy, and I'll catch you in my next video. Let's go Jets. Peace.